Good morning and welcome back to Coffee Break. If you're an aspiring writer, one of the best things you can build into your routine is journaling.
For writers, it's really important to get into the habit of writing. You want to write as often as possible. And yeah, journaling is a great way to help build that habit or keep yourself on that habit if you're already doing so.
Yeah, I think the great thing about journaling is you can journal about anything. You don't have to be working on a story to write in your journal.
Right. There's all kinds of different journals out there, and you can just create your own if none of the existing types of journals work for you.
So, for example, I'm still trying to get into the habit of making this a daily thing, but I found that for me, I'm just not a very organized journaler. Journaler? Can I be a journalist?
Oh. If you are one who journals, does that make you a journalist? Interesting. I'm going to say real journalists say no.
Yeah. So, anyways, I actually have this moleskin that I got for an art class in college. So this is kind of my everything notebook. It's small and light enough that I can just keep it in my purse. So when I need to write random things down, I do. So this is my very disorganized journal. But then...
So wait, is that like a planner or like goals, or is it like a yes, so like a bit of everything?
So there are some sketches from the art class that I took.
Nice.
There's some typography I was playing with.
Nice.
Creative writing stuff. There's a bingo game, apparently.
So this really
this is my everything.
Yeah.
My everything notebook journal.
But that's nice. That's like, you can look back on that and see like, oh hey, that's right, I remember doing this, and yeah, it's a nice memento.
Yeah.
I personally am awful about journaling every day. I can't keep up that pace. So I kind of dedicate journals to different topics.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, my mom got this for me for Christmas. It's a book lover's diary.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and it's got like room for your to read lists and like books you bought this year, and lots of notes where you can like record the title and your thoughts about it and everything like that, and like, notes about like, oh, check out more by this author, or never touch this series again, that sort of thing. So that's kind of handy. And then I've got like this big binder that I've put like poetry in since high school.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So I mean, most of it is not mine, right? Like, I'm not saying like I wrote all of these. Like, this is just poems that I've come across over the years that I've liked, and some of it is original.
Like a poetry scrapbook.
Yeah, but I consider it a kind of journal because it's something I'll pull out and work on every once in a while, and it's a nice recording of like all of the poems that I've read and loved. So far. So
I feel like gathering poems is a great segue into one of the good things about journaling is sparking creativity, right? There's no pressure with journaling,
Yeah, like you can just write about the things that happened to you today, and like maybe some like setting will inspire you, or you'll get an idea for a different character or something. Like, there's lots of different ways that journaling about your life or about like just your thoughts and feelings about anything can segue into professional writing.
Yeah, and I think you'll find that as you make journaling more of a habit and therefore writing more of a habit, you start looking at the world differently, right? Your vocabulary grows and changes as you struggle with, I need a different adjective than for this new thing that I saw today. And I think that's just a great way to build those into your life.
Yeah. And I think journaling also like increases your emotional intelligence overall. You start to understand yourself better, or maybe you're writing about like a conversation you had with a friend, and so it helps you consider things from their point of view. Like, it gets you thinking about the way we perceive things and the way humans think. And I think that can be really important for stories and characters later on.
Yeah, for sure. I would imagine one of the hardest things about writing a novel is having in-depth characters.
Yeah,
so having something that can help you with that is huge. One thing you might choose to do with your daily journaling is use that notebook as also a space to keep track of short-term and long-term goals. For instance, if you want to be a writer, getting that book written.
Yeah, it's a good place to track your progress because it's something that you're going to keep referencing, hopefully on a daily basis, but frequently at the very least.
Yeah.
And yeah, it keeps your goals refreshed in your mind, and journaling itself can help you work towards your writing goals. So if you don't currently keep a journal and you're wondering how to get started, I think the first important step is to figure out what kind of journal you want to keep.
Yeah, there's so many different kinds of journals. There are some journals that are an everything journal like mine, but more organized. There are some, maybe you had mentioned that your book journal is just for stuff about books. I do keep another journal. This is a recent new try at being a daily journaler because I can't say journalist. So my everything journal is blank pages, so I can sketch or I can write into it. But if I'm gonna just write and not sketch, I really like lined pages. And also I can't resist adorable notebooks that I find in the store.
Those are really cute. Does it say chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3? Oh, nice!
So, I like pretty colors. So now I also have another journal that there's lined pages, so it's just for text.
Nice.
So I think that is an important decision. And maybe you'll just be inspired by walking into the store and grabbing the first one that takes your fancy.
I think the most important thing is to make sure that your journal achieves what you want it to, right? You need to have a purpose in mind for this journal and then understand, okay, what do I need to do with this to make that actually happen? So me, I do not have the stamina for long journal entries. If I tried to set myself on that schedule, I would just fail. I know it. So, something like a gratitude journal where you only write a sentence or two a day, that's something that you can do every day that isn't going to take up a lot of time, that can still improve your positivity and make you more grateful for what you have. It can really have a big impact on your outlook.
Yeah, focus on those achievable goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have found there are so many cool ways to organize your journal, but I found that I need to let myself not stress about sticking to an original plan or organization. I just need to let my journal be whatever it is that week.
Hence your
everything
messy,
journal.
Everything journal.
Because otherwise I wouldn't finish using that notebook, right? I would feel like, I failed, or I can't write this down because it
I messed it up.
Yeah. So I think, stick to, if you want to be better at organization, maybe that's not good for you, but for me, I need to be okay with not being organized in that regard.
Yeah, let it be what it is.
I think probably the hardest thing about journaling is building it into your routine.
Yeah, because if you don't really journal, then you're starting a new habit from scratch, which can be really demanding. One of the easiest ways to build a habit is to create a trigger for it, right? So it's okay, every time I do this, or at this particular time of day, I am going to write in my journal. Set something up in your schedule that already exists to help, I call it piggybacking, right? You piggyback it onto something that already exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's every lunch break. Maybe it's right before you go to bed.
Right. I mean, if you keep a dream journal, then there you go. You just write it when you first wake up in the morning.
You know what might be a good trigger for me? I'm trying the morning routine right now, which I actually really like so far. But I feel like a good trigger would be after dinner, when I'm craving dessert, I have to write in my journal before I can have it.
Start a diet and exercise journal, and then be counting up your calories before you eat dessert so you can figure out whether or not you've earned it.
Well, and so notice, I didn't say that I wouldn't have dessert necessarily. Just that that's a good trigger because I crave dessert probably every day after dinner.
I understand that. You need something sweet to end the meal on.
Right.
Yeah, I totally get that. So if you currently keep a journal, we would love to hear what your favorite thing about it is and what benefits you get from it. And if you don't, let us know whether or not you want to start one, or ask us if you need help starting one.
You can let us know in the comments or on Twitter. We are at CoffeeBreakEBYR. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Right, as a writer, it's really important write. As a writer, it's important to write every day.
Something that you might choose to do in your daily journal is keep track of your short term and long term.
Is that still a thing? That's probably not a thing anymore.
I'm gonna say it's a thing because I still think it's hilarious.